Hi everyone, my name is Rafiat and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. I'm going to be showing you how I make my Nigerian egg rolls that look so good and taste even better, okay? But before we start, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you. So since we're making egg rolls, the first thing to do would be to boil some eggs, and I'm using 10 eggs for this. You can use half of that or any number that you want to. And I'm going to be using hard boiled eggs, which means that I'm going to be boiling the eggs for quite a time, and I'm going to be boiling for about 10 minutes in order to get hard boiled eggs. So just cover the pot and allow to cook. Now over to the dry ingredients. I'm going to be using 4 cups of all-purpose flour for this, and please, in all you do, in every recipe that requires you to use all-purpose flour or basically any kind of flour, please make sure you pass through a sieve, because these things come with trust me, all sorts of things, sand, stone, all sorts of things. So always make sure to pass through a sieve. And after that, I'm going to be adding some baking powder, some nutmeg and cinnamon. And you guys, I have to mention this about the baking powder. If you want the dough of your egg roll to be firm, okay, use baking powder as your rising agent. But if you want a softer dough, please use a little bit of yeast. Now I'm adding some salt and of course some sugar. So I have noticed that over time that I've been making pastries and snacks and all of that, adding a little bit of yeast to the dough of your Nigerian egg roll is going to give rise to a softer dough. So if you want a very firm dough, use this recipe. But if you want something very soft, you can replace the measurement of the baking powder with that same equal measurements for the yeast. Okay, this is where my own secret and my own twist lies. To get a very unique and natural flavor, I like adding grated or blended onions to the dough. Okay, this gives a really lovely flavor that once you try it, you're going to love it and you're going to keep doing it. And it also combines well with the other flavors that we added, the cinnamon and the nutmeg plus the onions. It's a very lovely combination that you guys, I recommend you add when you're making your own Nigerian egg rolls. And you guys, it's going to stand out from the regular egg roll recipes that you know. Okay, so mix the dough ingredients, all the dry ingredients, mix them very well. Now create a well in the middle of the bowl and go ahead and whisk eggs. I'm using 2 eggs for this recipe, so I'm just going to add that mixture into the bowl containing the other ingredients. The eggs are basically for moisture and rich taste, so add about 2 eggs. That will be okay for the quantity of egg rolls that we are making. Add some milk as well, again for that rich taste and that moisture. So what I'm doing now is simply to bring the ingredients together slowly, starting from the corners of the bowl, then working my way into the middle. Luckily, making the dough for egg rolls doesn't take a lot of time. Just combine your ingredients and then mix. It's very easy to make, nothing serious. You don't even have to knead the dough cautiously like you do for when you're making bread and all of that. Egg rolls are really easy to make. Okay, so now just continue working your way into the dough, and once the dough forms, use your hand to bring it together to form a big ball, and that's it. I usually allow my dough to rest for a few minutes, say anywhere between 5 to 15 minutes. Before we continue, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel? Hit that subscribe button please, and give this video thumbs up, and you guys turn on the notification bell so that you get notified when I post a new video. So I just added the cooked eggs to cold water. This is just to make it easy for the shells to come off. When doing this, make sure your hands are very clean, or you can simply wear gloves as well. So take off all the shells and repeat this process until you're done with the eggs. Like I said, I'm using about 10 eggs for this recipe, and that's it. So now that our eggs are ready, you can use them this way, but there is something I like to do to my eggs. I like to coat each one in all-purpose flour, or simply use a paper towel to clean each one completely, because naturally after removing the shells, you're going to notice that on the surface of the eggs there is still moisture, it's still wet, and you don't really want that. Make sure that your eggs, the eggs you're using for your egg rolls, make sure that they are totally dry before wrapping them up. What this does is that it's going to prevent the eggs from sinking into the dough when you eventually wrap the eggs up. So now back to the dough. Make sure you sprinkle some flour on the surface before working with the dough. This is just so the dough doesn't stick to the surface, okay? Just sprinkle a little bit of flour. What I'm doing now is to divide the dough into smaller pieces, and the division you get after, cutting into smaller pieces will determine the size of your egg rolls. There's quantity of ingredients that we use for this recipe. It's going to give you 10 to 12 egg rolls depending on the size you want at the end of the day. I was going with medium size for this recipe. So what you're going to do to each piece is to flatten out, and as usual or as expected, place an egg and wrap up. It's very easy to do, and sometimes when you're wrapping you find out that you have a little bit of excess. Just simply use your hands to pinch off, and when doing all of this, you can wear a glove or make sure your hands are very clean. Okay, now I'm just rolling the egg roll between my hands so that it can come out round and looking very good. In the absence of a rolling pin, you can use your hands to flatten out. You mustn't do the rolling pin method. You can use your hands to flatten the piece of dough out, place an egg and wrap up. The outcome of the two methods, that's using the rolling pin and using your hands, the outcome is actually the same. They are both going to come out round, and what determines how round and smooth they are is simply how you roll. And that's it. They're very easy to roll up. So repeat this process until you're done with all the eggs and all the dough. Look how well formed the egg rolls, or rather this one is, and look how all of them came out, how round and fine they came out. So some people decide to freeze at this stage, and so that whenever they want egg rolls, they can just bring out from the freezer and fry. The other reasons why you can add onions to your vegetable oil, but my major reason is flavor. So because of flavor, I added a little bit of onion to the vegetable oil I'll be using. Please, when you're frying your egg rolls, make sure you use enough oil. Okay, don't be stingy with the oil. You don't shallow fry egg roll. Make sure that you're frying with enough oil, and make sure the oil is not hot at all. Trust me, you don't want that particular one. Please don't make that mistake. Make sure the oil is not too hot, because you're going to be left with egg rolls that are look brown on the outside, that are done on the outside, but on the inside the dough is absolutely raw. You don't want any of that. And make sure you're stirring continuously so that they are evenly fried, all around the egg roll. They look good, so make sure you're turning continuously. Use enough oil and make sure the oil isn't hot. Okay, once you follow these three things I mentioned about frying, you're going to be left with egg rolls that look really good. They are not going to be burnt. The inside, they are going to be done, and everything will just be perfect. So after frying should take about 5 to 10 minutes. And once you're done frying, take them out of the frying pan, and that's it. It's very easy to fry, and repeat this process until you're done with all the egg rolls. Another thing I need to mention is when you're frying, make sure you don't overcrowd the pan that you're using, because that will mean that the egg rolls won't be evenly cooked, and they will be struggling for space, and you won't even see space to be able to stir them continuously. And you guys, repeat this process until you're done with the egg rolls, and that's it. It's very easy to make, very easy. Just follow this procedure, the measurements and everything. You're going to be left with egg rolls that look really good, and not just the look, they are well done, properly done on the outside and on the inside as well. Look how pretty this looks. You guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for coming this far, and I want you to go through my channel. There are lots and lots of amazing recipes for you to try. So what are you going to enjoy your egg rolls with? You can use Coke, Fanta, Zobo, tiger nut drink, absolutely anything you want to enjoy them with. It's a great snack and everyone loves it. Thank you so much for coming this far, and bye bye. I'm going to see you in my next one.